Can a cis white hetero male talk about transgenderism and transracialism in a public forum? Not did I say can, I meant to say should. I'm not asking about freedom of speech, I'm saying decorum and appropriateness. And by public forum, I mean in the pages of the Atlantic Monthly or the Houston Chronicle's letter section or a lowly YouTube video lecture. And I give it a resounding yes. This is what John Stuart Mill is talking about in Chapter 2 of his On Liberty, that we need to discuss things. Oh, look at the cat in the background. I'm going to talk about a professor of philosophy who wrote, a young woman. Should I tell you that she's a cis, white, Jewish woman? Grandparents were Holocaust survivors. I don't know if that's important or not, but she wrote an article for a scholarly journal called Hypatia. I should go back and tell you she's an associate professor. She does not have tenure. And she writes an article about transgenderism, and her argument is, as we accept transgenderism, she's progressive and accepts transgenderism, so the same argument, so we should accept transracialism. And that's her argument. She gets slammed by the internet community, not just the internet community, but even one of her professors of her dissertation lashes out at her publicly. The associate editors of Hypatia write a letter of apology and a letter ordering the pulling out of this article, the excising of this article. Now, as I understand it, I'm not a philosophy major and I don't read much. By the way, her article, surprisingly, is pretty easy. Well, not easy. It took me 2 or 3 reads to understand it, but it's not filled with all sorts of weird philosophical jargon. But as I understand it, I think when you write an article that people disagree with, they should write articles responding, or they should write letters responding. That's how we do it in history. There are huge fights in history between people who strongly disagree with each other. But you don't just say, you shouldn't exist, or your article shouldn't exist. And the attacks on her were not attacks on her argument. They were almost attacks on her not having the ability to talk about it, since she was neither black nor transgendered. And it seems to me, if an argument works, especially an argument about public policy, it doesn't matter who you are. If she had been a man, we should have listened to the argument, and if we didn't like it, then to attack it. I'm going to append the Wikipedia article about this. Fascinating. I would really urge you to read it. It's a great Wikipedia article. But there was just recently, and I just finished it, a year later, there was a whole Philosophy Now had a whole issue devoted to her, and 5 or 6 people disagreeing with her and showing where she was wrong, and then her response. I thought that's exactly how you do any kind of scholarly pursuits. So we're going to talk about this next time. I'm going to give you the article if you would like to read it and you couldn't understand, but I'll explain what she has to say and how I interpret it. I interpret it differently than she does. But we'll see you at the next lecture.